And it's not the one I want to play. It's this one here I want to play.
See with Wiz and JT.
Ai, kia ora noi tiwi nau mai hara mai koutou ki tēnei hōtako nā parakuhi i rungi tēnei reorarangi tuatahi o Aotearoa. Tingo tēnei reorarangi nā Tūranga FM i tēnei wā, kua tai mai te wā mō ngā pitu kōrero, mai a hau, awa ko Jace, te whiwirangi mai te GC. Morena ki a koe, brother?
Ai, morena hoki ki a koe re arua moko, kei te pēhea.
Oh, kei te pai, kei te pai. Yes, we'll talk about Ruo Moko a bit later. But what have you got for us there on the GC? Firstly, what is the time? What's the weather like as your normals?
The time, we'll get to the time first. I remember I did have this watch. Now, we went to China for some business meetings last year. Had me a watch. I've never ever worn, I've worn it a couple of times rather, but it's too expensive. I think, I don't know what it's worth, but it's probably a small car. It's 20, hang on, it's upside down, so I can't even use it. It's, sorry, it's almost Monday morning, so we're bright and as per usual. And now for the weather. It's currently 21 degrees here on the Gold Coast. We're expecting a high of 29 and a low of 16. The sun rose this morning at 4:46 and will set at 6:15 p.m. So of rain, sorry, and a 31% humidity rating at the moment. That was the weather.
Okay, so thank you very much for the update. Now, we'll start with you due to time constraints. So what's been happening there on the GC?
Okay, just wrapping up over the weekend was the over 40 Pan Pacific Masters Games. There was over 40 sports, rugby league, touch, netball, athletics, and something, Walter, called calisthenics. Have you got any idea what that is?
I'm thinking callus on your hands. I don't know. Calisthenics. Calluses. I don't know. You tell me.
Now, what it is?
So, what is it?
It's a variety of gross motor movement exercises, often rhythmical and generally without equipment or apparatus. So it's a bit of these ones, you know, where it's almost like a warm up. So that's calisthenics. That was part of the program for the Pan Pac Masters Games held over here on the Gold Coast over the last few days, which wrapped up yesterday. There is a developers group called Orion International. Approval for what will be the Southern Hemisphere's tallest building, a whopping 328 metres. And it's only just metres below the height restrictions that are in place by the Civil Aviation Authority, so the planes don't, crash into them. It will feature two towers, one at 103 stories and one at 76 stories. So, costing 1.2 billion. I reckon they'll be asking for a koha from us, bro. I know what your pay packet's like. It's pretty heavy, so you'll be in there, won't you?
No, not quite, mate. No. No.
And finally, just a couple of birthday calls. Thomas Tutoha, ex-Old Boys winger over there in Gizzy. He turns 46 tomorrow. Happy birthday, Tom. Good man, I'll tell you. Catch up with him every now and then at rugby league games. And also the Daly twins, Sarah and Catherine. It's their birthday during the week as well, but I won't say how old they are because they're lovely ladies. And this Friday, I'm heading to the Richlands Hotel in Brisbane to celebrate the 60th birthday of my uncle John Tibble, John the Baptist, we like to call him. Ex-Kaiti Devils coach and ex-Tūranga health worker. So happy birthday there, Uncle Dorka, Uncle John. Over to you, Walter.
Okay, yeah, well, happy birthday to John Tibble. I know John, we chat a lot, quite a bit. So, yeah, big happy birthday to him. Anyway, I've got a couple of stories. First of all, over the weekend, Tūranga Araro celebrated their 25th birthday. So I hear it was fantastic. I've been seeing all the posts up on Facebook, and so well done to them celebrating their 25th birthday. So that was over the weekend on Saturday. What else is happening? Of course, this week we have the Tūranganui Schools Māori Cultural Festival. Over 60 schools participating over the week. These are like some of our mainstream schools, kindergartens, kohanga, intermediate primary schools, early childhood centres, and it goes over a week period. So they'll be performing this week here in Tairawhiti. And talking about birthdays, did you know that it's Prince Charles's birthday today? Prince Charles, Prince of Wales.
No, Prince Charles' birthday today.
Okay, well, he's the big 68. He's the big 68 years old today, and 2 more years to go till his 70th. I wonder if we'll get an invitation. I don't see that happening. But I know there's some Māori people that... What was that? I lost you there.
Well, I definitely think you should get an invitation, mate. You're a faithful loyalist, royalist, whatever you want to call it.
You're a royalist.
So,
Royal?
well,
Yeah. Yeah, no, that'd be nice. But anyway, yeah. But I hear some people, the Māori people, have got some royal blood anyway. Anyway, lastly, I want to finish off on is the big earthquake here in New Zealand. It struck around about 2 past midnight. I got woken up. It ruined my sleeping pattern. So I'm 2 minutes behind sleep. It struck about 2 minutes past midnight. It was struck in a place called Calverton in Hanmer Springs down the South Island, not far from Christchurch and Kaikoura. So Kaikoura got the biggest hit most of all. It was the depth of 5 kilometers, the magnitude of 7.5. So it's affected, of course, most of the South Island, the east coast of the South Island, up through to Wellington and the east coast of the North Island through to Gisborne and East Cape. Our tsunami warning has been lifted. However, there is still a tsunami warning put in place for Wellington and parts of the South Island. And, you know, that Kaikoura is going through a bad stage at the moment. So it's all over the news, and you might want to check that out on Facebook too as well. So, yeah, so that's our biggest news for here in Aotearoa. So, you know, with tsunamis, you know, have you, you know, when they issue out tsunami warnings, you know, you always see people go to the beach to have a look when they say don't go down to the beach. Hey, you know, when they say don't go down to the beach.
Typical of you, you know, you're inquisitive. A lot of surfers in Gisborne, obviously, with, you know, imagine all the cozy bros heading down to the beach. Should be right.
Yeah, it should be right. Next minute, have the Harry. Yeah, it's all over. Yeah. So anyway, our deepest thoughts are going out to all those whānau that may be from here that are down the South Island, especially in the Kaikoura area and Hanmer Springs. So yes. Anyway, that's roughly about it for me. Any other last ones for you?
Yeah, just on I was on Facebook last night, just after 9 o'clock Queensland time. That's when the reports started coming in, people posting statuses about and all the good stuff. So yeah, hopefully everyone's safe up and down the Motu, and you know, is out of taking a play and nothing eventuates from that. Also, another kind of phenomenon, not so much an earthquake, but a landslide. What about Donald Trump, brother?
Donald who? Donald Duck.
You know, old Trumpy, Trump there with the right bell.
Oh, goodness gracious me. Yes. And it's funny because, I mean, there's people still protesting in America. And I know there's a lot of people, some Americans are moving to New Zealand, so I hear. Yeah.
Interesting times. Look, whatever happens, it's part, and everyone's just got to accept the result and move on. A shorter set of strings than the Clintons were in terms of being puppets to higher powers. Hopefully Donald Trump, look, I'm not a fan of either, and let's put that out there straight away, but I think he was probably bringing in some change and some new direction to what is often called the world's #1 superpower. So hopefully old Donald, Uncle Don, can do the business.
Yeah, so he actually gets sworn in January next year. Is it January, I think? Yep. To be actually, so he's for the presidency. And so, yeah, what happens if he decides to change his, I don't know whether he can change his mind or not. Can you do that, I suppose? So, like, come there and goes, oh, no, I don't want to be president anymore. I wonder if that has ever happened. And I suppose, would Hillary take that next step? Just interesting.
Well, maybe not. He changed his hairstyle. It looks like a baby pig with a candy floss on its head.
Hairstyle, yeah, true that. You brush it to the side, yeah. Anyway, bro. Hey, Jace, thanks very much for catching up, bro. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch up with you next Monday.
All good, brother. Hopefully everyone's safe again, and much aroha to everyone out there.
All right. Kia ora. All right, there we go. Jace, the Whiwhirangi from the GC, chatting with me down here on the EC.
JC and the GC brothers.